and welcome to Dungeons and Tangents. My name is Eric.
My name is Robert.
And today we're doing something a bit different. We are going to be running a D&D 5e Monster versus Monster Halloween-themed tournament. And kind of the premise for this was something Robert came up with, I don't know, a number of months ago, right?
Oh, this is an idea I shamelessly stole from somebody else.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
Okay.
But we've been working up to doing this for months, like trying to figure out what it's going to look like, what monsters will be involved, how we're going to set up the actual setup, and we'll show you that in a second. So today, first off, you need to know that we are going to be doing 7 different brackets of monsters, starting from challenge rating 1/4 to 1/2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's it. That's
yep.
it. In each one of those challenge rating brackets, we have at least 4, sometimes 8 monsters in the bracket, and they're all going to fight one another, one-on-one fights to the death, until we find out who in that challenge rating wins, which maybe it's going to tell us something about the inherent strengths and vulnerabilities of every monster. Spoilers, well, actually not spoilers. We've run this like 3 times now.
Yeah.
And we've had horrible technical difficulties. So now we're really damn good at it, and we've got all of everything sorted out. And I feel like I've learned a lot already.
I do too, and I think if nothing else, this time when we make some kind of terrible fundamental mistake when it comes to the rules, we'll have absolutely no excuse because we've done it.
That's true. Yeah.
This will be our 4th time running through it.
And we've made a lot of mistakes.
Oh yeah.
In practically every run through, except that last one. I think we ran some pretty clean run throughs, but yeah. Anyway, so today we're just going to run the CR 1/4 monsters, starting with. Well, let me show you the bracket. And if you're listening on the podcast, know that we are actually recording this and posting it to YouTube. We've actually had a YouTube channel since the beginning of this podcast. It started out as a YouTube channel, and then we switched to podcast, and now we're switching to both. Well, not really switching to both. We're doing both for this event.
We're doing whichever one is easier, or we enjoy the most as it happens, essentially.
And what's most appropriate for the material. Like if we're just talking,
is probably better.
You don't need to look at us.
Yeah.
But if we're doing something that involves dice and miniatures and some tactics to it, then it kind of makes sense to have some cameras pointed at the dice and the miniatures. So here, I'll pull up the bracket again. Skeleton versus Goblin. That will be our first fight. And then our second fight will be Zombie versus Swarm of Bats. And our final fight will be whoever wins each of those 2 first brackets.
The winners of the previous bracket.
Yeah. I think we're ready to go, aren't we?
Indeed. Let's do it.
All right. When necromantic energies take hold of long-dead remains, and nothing is left but bones, a skeleton is created. Defying the laws of nature and sanity, the bones stir once again, creating a mindless, patient horror, capable of waiting an eternity for the next victim. Often thought of as unintelligent, goblins are dangerous because they are underestimated. Sneaky, conniving, devious, and crafty. These are words that better describe their true nature. Not happy to simply surprise their prey, they are known to actively seek out environments that provide tactical advantages. Goblins take pleasure in making a fight as unfair as possible, proactively setting traps that, at best, distract, and at worst, disable.
All right. So this is the first fight of our CR 1/4 bracket.
Yeah, and we're looking now at the stats for each of these creatures. Obviously, they're both same CR. Goblin being small, I don't know if that's going to make any difference here.
I feel like that factors into the AC, but I'm not certain.
Really? Okay.
The thing that I see being the biggest factor with what we're looking at now is the Goblin's got the higher AC but fewer hit points.
Yeah, that's true. That number of hit points is low enough that what is that? 1 round? 2? Well, it would be 2 rounds. Depends on how much damage you can do.
It really does. Let's see what their damage looks like.
Let's go over to the actions page where we can see what they can do and what they can't do. They're pretty evenly matched as far as they both have a melee weapon, they both have a ranged weapon.
They're pretty much identical except for the fact that when it comes to melee, Goblin is slashing and Skeleton's piercing. Other than that, they're the same all the way down.
Yeah.
And with a 1d6 plus 2, the Goblin is in one-shot territory as far as it can be taken down with one hit.
So let's see the traits that each of these has, see if that makes any, if it affects this in any way. Immune to poison and exhaustion, I don't think that's going to come into play.
Bludgeoning definitely could if the Goblin had a different weapon.
Right.
For the purposes of this, that won't be the case. But going with the theme of the smaller size, we can see the Goblin can kind of dart in and out with the disengage bonus action.
That's true.
Which kind of fits the narrative, but also might be very powerful when it comes to being able to take advantage of terrain tactically.
Right. Which, in this situation, it's probably not going to come into play just because it's a one-on-one. They're going to get in there probably. And
yes. Doing this, I think we've seen a bunch of things where we would love, like, oh, this is going to be very cool. And really, it applies to using these against players or a party of adventurers, especially if you have more than one of these creatures.
Right.
I'm a big fan of having multiple goblins kind of pop out of nowhere and dart in and out of combat and basically just ruin your day. But you're right, we probably won't see that with a one-on-one skeleton versus goblin.
Yeah. I think we're ready to go, aren't we?
Let's find out what happens.
All right. I think it's time for us to roll initiative, isn't it?
And it is. So I'll be playing the skeleton?
And I'll be doing the goblin. I'm rolling initiative. And I'll be the white dice. Robert will be the black dice. 15 plus 2, that's 17.
4 plus 2 is 6.
Okay. So you get to place first then? Because you... Or we just putting...
Yep. I think we decided that wasn't as
it doesn't,
as we thought it was going to be.
Yeah. In our previous runs through, we paid close attention to who placed their miniature first and who placed second, and it doesn't seem to really matter. So it's my turn first?
Yep, you won.
Okay. I'm just, let's see here. I have, how much movement? 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 5, 10, 15, 20. My movement is 30, so I can run up to you and attack, or I could use my short bow. Both are pretty even. I'm just gonna run up to you.
Okay.
Get this over with. I'm gonna take you out. And 6 plus, that's a 10 to hit.
AC 13.
That does not hit.
I'm gonna attack you with my short sword.
All right.
It's 18 plus 4, 22.
That definitely hits.
For 1d6 plus 2.
Oh, whoa! You could.
That's 7 points of damage.
That's you just immediately killed me.
All right. I like how this is going.
That's okay. So I guess the skeleton moves on in the bracket to the final fight. Yeah, that's brutal. Brutal and fast. Now, these low challenge rating fights can go that fast.
Yes.
That's normal. As we move up the brackets, the monsters are going to definitely take more hits, have more hit points.
And have better abilities to either absorb or deflect damage.
Yeah, yeah.
And it can be surprisingly interesting for some of the brackets. and surprisingly straightforward. So, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Shuffling through the darkness, zombies are slow, easily outrun, and fairly straightforward to dispatch. However, when encountered in hordes, they surround anything living, overtaking, devouring, and leaving nothing but bloody stains in their wake. A faint rustling in the night sky is the only warning before a swarm of bats attack. Coming from all directions, obscuring vision, and nearly impossible to hit, they are relentless. Small bites and scratches combine to sap the strength of the mightiest adventurer. Here we have the zombie versus the swarm of bats, their stats. Both of them medium, though the swarm of bats being a medium swarm of tiny, which I think we'll get into what that means on the traits.
Yep.
But swarm is an aspect that we won't see in many creatures,
Especially not in these episodes. What I think is really interesting is they've got the same hit points, but the zombie has a really terrible AC.
Yeah, an 8 is, well, you're going to hit at 50-50 if the AC is 10.
Right.
If you have no modifiers.
No modifiers.
Right.
So basically, you're just going to hit the zombie nonstop.
Yeah, I think almost everybody's got a +2 or a +4, somewhere in that range for their 2 hits, which is, you got like a less than a 20% chance of missing.
It feels very unbalanced when we look at just this.
Yeah,
but
it
when we
does.
go into the traits,
Yeah, let's go into the traits. If I can get into the traits.
we see this undead fortitude,
That's right.
which is it has a huge effect for the zombie.
Right. So if it goes down to 0 hit points, it may not die. It may come back, and it depends on how much damage it takes.
Right.
If it takes 1 damage, it only has to make a Constitution saving throw of DC 6 in that particular case.
And the fact that the DC is directly proportionate to the amount of damage that it took is a huge factor, especially when we get into the actions for the swarm of bats. Because the swarm of bats does half damage when it reaches half of its hit points.
Oh, that's right. Do we want to go to the actions
Yeah.
now? Okay, let's go to the actions. Yeah, you'll see. I think this is an aspect of every swarm in D&D 5th edition that as it loses hit points, it loses the ability to do damage.
Which makes sense, because really the hit points, instead of a representative health for most creatures, it's a representative of population of the swarm.
Yeah.
So the fewer the swarm, the fewer attacks it makes, the less damage it does.
And
the less damage it does, the easier that save gets for the undead fortitude.
right. Now that means that a zombie up against some PCs may be taking a lot of damage, and that Constitution saving throw may be really high, depending on the level of the PCs and how much damage they can do.
And one zombie shouldn't really be meant, well, it depends on the kind of flavor of your campaign, but it shouldn't be meant to be this game-changing, antagonist for your party. It's a zombie, right?
Yeah.
But for a bunch of bats, a zombie should be a little more significant.
Yeah.
We also see this very interesting kind of tipping point for the bats, where they do a lot better in the beginning, and then they are less and less effective as time goes by.
Whereas the zombie is consistent the whole time, and then has that potential to come back at the end.
And when that potential to come back comes into play, most likely will be towards the later end of the fight, when the bats are less effective.
That is true. Well, we'll have to see what happens.
Let's do it.
Wait.
This is the second bracket for CR 1 quarter.
This is.
I'll be playing the zombie.
And I'll be playing the Swarm of Bats. And each of them has 22 hit points to start, which is quite a bit. Yeah, roll initiative. 13 plus 2.
I got
15.
14 minus 2, so I got 12.
Okay, then I guess I'm going first. And we've placed them on the board already. Let's see here. I'm not sure I can get to you in one round. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Yeah, it's going to take me 2 full...
Is your speed 30 because you fly?
Yeah, it's 30 flying.
Okay.
So it takes me 1 full round to... or 1 full turn.
Mm-hmm.
Both my movement and my action to get up to you, but I am now on your space because a swarm of bats can only attack something that is on its space.
Right. You have a reach of 0.
Reach of 0, which is weird in a couple ways. That's my turn.
Okay. I will attack with a slam, +3 to hit. It's an 11.
That does not hit.
All right.
Okay. And
I'm not going to move.
right, and that's something we noticed before, is because the reach is 0, any motion once the bats are in your space means you're leaving the threat zone, and I would get an attack of opportunity.
Right. So that's why you don't want to leave the space for a swarm of bats or any kind of a swarm that occupies your square. But that's not the reason why I'm not going to leave. Specifically, the zombie is a mindless soldier and takes the most direct route to any foe, unable to comprehend obstacles, tactics, or dangerous terrain. So all it knows is where it needs to be able to attack you, so it's going to stay where it's at.
That sounds reasonable.
Oblivious to its impending doom.
I can't say that the swarm of bats is a whole lot smarter. They have an intelligence of 2, so I think it's functioning purely on instinct.
Okay.
Just, look, there's something I can eat, or there's something that threatens me.
Gotcha. It's your turn?
It is my turn. I'm going to attack with the bite, and that is a 2. That does not hit.
All right.
I can't imagine. Does
return-
6 hit?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. We're looking for at least an 8. So
Okay.
got real close.
That's pathetic.
Hey!
Oh,
Natural
okay.
20.
Somebody's taking damage.
That's going to be 2d6 plus 1.
2d6 plus 1.
5, 2, 7, 8 points of damage.
But I have damage resistance to bludgeoning.
Damn it.
So
that's 4 points
So
of
that's
damage.
4 points of damage. So I go down to 18.
And it's your move.
And it is my move. Then I attack as well. Just with the bite. And 4 plus 4 is 8.
That hits.
That hits.
That'll actually hit.
Which is really quite sad. And I do 2d4. That's 1. Total of 4 points of damage.
All right.
This is a lot more interesting than the last fight.
The last, on this bracket, yes. It's got more than one round.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to attack.
All right. 19.
Oh, so close. 1d6 plus 1. 5, so 2 points.
2 points. All right. And another bite. 1.
I can't see
You
it.
can't see it, but it's
Okay.
a 1.
All right. I like how it's going so far.
Jeez.
Go with the slam.
18,
To
that
hit.
hits.
4, so 2.
2 points. Okay. Well, okay. All I can do is bite. 15 plus 4 is 19. I think that hits.
Oh, easily, yes.
I think that doubles your AC. Okay, 4. 6 points of damage. So I have actually in one round taken you down after 3 rounds of taking damage. Is that right? I don't remember.
Taking me down what?
Well, I've taken you down below my hit points.
Oh.
Where you were in the lead for quite a while there.
All right, I'm going to attack. Slam.
14.
18.
That hits.
So 4 halved is 2.
Jeez. That damage resistance is kind of brutal to you.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Okay, bite. 6
Gonna hit.
plus 4 is 10. That hits. I should know. I am at 12 hit points.
Yep.
When
one
I'm
more.
at one more. When I'm at 11, I can do 1d4 piercing damage instead of 2d4 piercing damage. So this is probably the last time. Well, maybe not. Last time I can do 2d4. There's 4. And 4.
Made it count.
8.
Takes me down to 4.
That is harsh. 8 plus 4 is 12. 14. That hits. 14 plus 4 is 19. I think that doubles your AC. Okay, 4.
4.
8.
4.
That's my turn.
I'll attack. All right.
That's going to hit. 18 plus what? 2?
1 point of damage. But that's enough to have your damage.
That's true. That's true. Okay. I'm going to bite. 7 plus 4 is still more than 10.
I'll hit.
It is 10, right? No, 8 is your AC is 8.
My AC is 8, yeah.
That's ridiculous. Okay, I could take you out right here. If I could roll the die into the die tray. 2.
All right. So I'm down to 2. I'll go for slam.
That's going to hit.
4, so 2 points of damage.
2, jeez. Okay. This is quite the bout. 1.
Ooh.
I do not hit.
All right.
18. You rolled
I'll hit.
18 like I don't know how many times.
6 is 3 points of damage.
Yeah, I'm down to 6. You're down to 2. And 4 plus 4 is 8.
That'll
That
hit.
hits. This could be it. 3 points of damage.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So that is a DC. I have undead fortitude.
Right.
So when you take me down, what would be a clean blow, I roll a DC 5 plus the amount of damage taken to determine if I actually go down or not. So
Oh,
that's
so
going to
it's
be
a
a DC
DC
8.
That's not much.
And it is Constitution, which is plus 3.
Oh,
All right, so I save. So I'm at 1 hit point.
okay.
And I get to attack.
Right. And you can roll another 18.
That's 6, so 3 points of damage.
Jeez. Okay. I can do it. Nope, I can't.
All
That's a
right,
2.
I'm going to slam.
I did not hit.
It's a 17.
Jeez. I think you're taking me out. Whoa.
6, 7, 3 points of damage.
That takes me down.
All right.
That was quite the fight.
It was very different than what we're used to.
Yeah, like every other time. How many times have we run this?
Too many times.
Yeah. Every other time, I think the Swarm of Bats has won because of
The Sword of Bats didn't win when I played it because I
that's
didn't
right.
realize it had the resistance.
damage resistance. That's
So I
right.
just took full damage and everything.
So let's look at the bracket now. That means that the zombie gets to move on, and it's going to be undead versus undead.
Sounds good.
Zombie versus skeleton. Okay. I'm going to stop and reset for that fight. So here we are at the championship.
Yeah, I think the
Question mark?
finals, I suppose.
It seems like a bit of a small lead up to a championship, but still,
Things move quick.
yeah. And it's the undead versus the undead. Skeleton versus zombie. Everything's the same, CR size and type, but not AC and hit points or speed.
Yeah, so the skeleton's harder to hit. The zombie's very easy to hit. We talked about this before where the zombie has the fortitude. However, first round, the skeleton has it's vulnerable to bludgeoning damage.
That's right.
And its opponent first round didn't do bludgeoning damage.
That's right.
Now it does.
Right.
So it'll be very interesting to see how that
we wanna
plays
go to
into it.
Actions to show that.
Yeah, so the zombie's slam attack is of type bludgeoning, and that's going to do double damage against the skeleton.
Right. But the skeleton does have advantage on speed at 30 feet. I'll go back.
And it's got a ranged weapon.
And it has that range weapon. So depending on if it goes first or second, it has the advantage of at least one round, potentially one round of attacks that the zombie doesn't get. But then that undead fortitude comes into play in that the zombie gets potentially an extra round at the end.
It could have multiple rounds. So you can do it more than once.
That's true. That's true.
So tactically, the range and the movement is very important. However, tactically, a skeleton doesn't have the intelligence to take advantage of that. So it's
That's
more
true.
of, at this CR with these kind of intelligence levels, it really, a lot of it depends on how the initiative goes, how the hits go, and very quickly it can be over. But something like the bludgeoning vulnerability and the undead fortitude can be major factors in that.
That is true. All right, we'll have to see.
Cool.
Okay, now we are ready to move on to the final fight, the skeleton versus the zombie. I think it's time to roll for initiative, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll play in the skeleton.
Yep, and I'll be doing the zombie. 18. Minus? Plus?
Plus 2, so
Plus
yeah,
2.
20.
17 minus 2. So I'm not going first.
I'll go first. All right, I have a movement of 30. So it looks like I'll probably have to move twice. And because of the...
I don't know that you do.
Let's see. 6 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. I'll put it right there.
All right.
Well, actually, I'm just going to go ahead and stay here. And I'm going to shoot my short bow at you.
Oh.
It's a plus 4 to hit.
Uh-oh.
15.
That will hit.
All right. And that is 1d6 plus 2.
1d6 plus 2.
So 6 points of damage.
6 points of damage.
You
Brings
got
me
pesky
down
damage
to-
resistance, do you?
Brings me down to 16, is that right?
Yep.
I don't do maths that well.
It's okay.
I am a zombie, so kind of forgot. Might have been good at it in life, but not anymore. Let's see. I guess, wait, I can't be rolling to hit dice. I'm nowhere near you. And
You gotta close some distance.
yeah, and I don't think I can do that in one round.
What's
5,
your movement?
10,
Oh, your movement's
15, 20. That's what I got. So that's 20. And then 5, 10. Yeah,
All right.
that's it.
All right. Well, then I'm gonna go ahead and attack. I'll drop the short bow and go for my short sword.
Okay.
8.
That will hit.
All right. That's 6 points of damage.
Okay. That's a lot. And it's time for me to hit. And yeah. 3 plus 3. That's 6.
AC 13.
I don't think that will hit.
All right. I'm gonna return fire with a short sword. 21
That'll hit, maybe. Probably.
plus 2. 7 points of damage.
Jeez. That brings me down to 3 hit points, and I haven't done any damage to you yet. Okay. I'm going to attack. All I can do is the slam. 18 plus 3. That's 21.
That's definitely gonna hit.
I actually hit. And it's 1d6 plus 1. That's 2.
All right. Felt that. Was the slam bludgeoning?
I believe it is, isn't it? Wait, yes, it is.
I'm vulnerable to bludgeoning, so
Okay.
that doubles to 4.
So that is 4 points of damage. Wow. I did something. And it didn't suck too bad.
All right. I'm going to try and stab you with the short sword. AC 7.
Nope. That misses. Wow.
Barely. All right. You're back in the game.
Maybe. Probably.
You do a double damage.
Oh, because I do, yeah. Yeah, because I do
Stop
double
rolling
damage.
ones
Okay.
and you'll be fine.
That's a 6 plus 3. That's
9.
9.
AC 13.
That doesn't hit. AC 13 and your hit points are 13. Oh, I think
18.
that's. I don't think that's gonna. I'm gonna go down.
That's D6 plus 2. That's 5 points.
5. Okay, so you did 5 points of damage.
So it's a DC 10.
So DC 10
Constitution, which I think you have a bonus to.
plus 3 to my Constitution. 19 plus that's yeah. So
Alright,
I
so you
bounce back
save.
up to 1 hit point, and I get to attack.
Yep.
That
looks like a hit to me, yeah.
That's 18, so that hits. And 1d6 plus 1. That's
6 points of
4.
damage.
Nope.
So
4
8
points of
points.
damage. 8 points of damage. You're down to 1 now.
I'm down to 1.
So we're both at 1 hit point, and it's
Alright.
your turn. Only I can save from death. That's.
So is that a 9?
Yeah, that's a 9.
So it's 13.
That hits.
It's 6 points of damage. So DC 11.
DC 11. Let's see here. Okay, so let's see.
20. Oh,
So
man.
yeah, I bounce down to 0 and then back up, and I get to attack. Let's see if I can roll
Go
another
ahead.
20. 20.
Ouch. All right, roll it. Make it official.
4 plus 4 plus 1.
9 points of damage.
18
points of damage.
18 points of damage. So you
Which is
get-
more than I had in the very beginning.
So that drops you to 17. Negative 17.
All right. Okay.
Okay, that was surprising.
It was. The skeleton's never won.
No, it
And multiple
hasn't.
times I've done this. It's always been either the swarm of bats or the zombie.
Yeah,
But the skeleton got real close this time.
it did. That was I was convinced that I was done for, and then it turned around.
Interesting enough, the goblin always goes down first round.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess that makes sense because I mean, if you run goblins enough as a DM, you kind of use them as like fodder. You just throw them at the players and they get tore
That
up.
could be said of basically all of the monsters in the 1/4 bracket, though.
That's
so.
true. That's true. Yeah, it really is. Except the swarm of bats. That can be nasty.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to using that in a campaign. All right.
All right. Let's look at the final bracket quickly.
Champion zombie.
Yeah, I did not expect that at all. So yeah, that is it for this episode of Dungeons and Tangents. Next time we will be tackling the 1/2 bracket, which I'm pulling up right here. You can see we have the Warg, the Barovian Witch, the Shadow, and the Shahuigan. Shahuigan, you've described it as fitting this theme because it's kind of like the creature from the Black Lagoon.
That's how I'm going to justify it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. And that's that. And tune in next time for the next bracket of our little tournament here.
Sounds good.
All
Thanks,
right.
Eric.
Thank you.